Item number 4, presentation to the court by Kathy Turner Jones pertaining to Prairie Lands Groundwater Conservation District. Welcome, Kathy.
Hey
How you
there.
doing?
Somebody sent me a message on your telephone.
First of all, I'm very excited to be here today and give you an update on the Groundwater District and what we've been doing and a little bit highlight of 2023. I'm handed out to all the court a copy of our 2023 annual report, and within that front cover is a copy of the presentation today. I apologize if it's a little small in places, but we're glad to provide other copies at a different size if needed. If you'll look at slide 2 of that presentation, it shows that in 2023, the district as a whole saw the restoration of additional 328 wells. Of these new wells within the district as a whole, Somervell County accounted for only 18 new wells, bringing the county's total registered wells to 304. When you look at the total number of registered wells of 2,782 within the district, only approximately 11% of those wells are located in Somervell County. We know the county's smaller, but also the water resource is a lot more limited than in other areas of the district. It's important to know for everyone that we don't believe there's only 304 wells within the county. What it is that prior to the district's creation in 2009, wells were not required to be registered, so as we got up and running and put permanent rules or temporary rules in place at that time, that's when the restoration process came. We were seeing a lot of the existing wells voluntarily register, especially as they have to look at replacing wells or, concerned about neighboring operations that are about to go into place and they want some protection on those. So, while it may not seem like a positive thing for them, it's positive for us because we're now getting better data within our system to monitor and to keep track of it and to ensure protection for that landowner. On slide 3, we see the various types of wells and the uses of wells that are registered within the county. From the map, you can hopefully see the largest amount of wells are used for domestic use and for watering lawns. We have approximately 198 of those wells under this category for Somervell County. Again, these are exempt wells that are not required to permit or meter. They're exempt under statute as well as our rules. The second largest amount of wells used is livestock watering, and we have approximately 26 of those registered. Now they are also exempt and not required to permit. But the third largest group is the commercial. There's 20 of those, and they are required to have a permit for use. So if we look at slide 4, we show protection comparison between 2022 and 2023 for wells required to permit and report reduction to the district. One of the total wells in Somervell County that are registered, 44 of those wells are required to be permitted. But keep in mind, you'll hear another number in a minute. I mentioned 44 wells. Some of those permits may have more than one of these registered wells. So when we talk about permits in a minute, you'll see a smaller number. Again, these are non-exempt wells required to report usage and meter to the district. This is how we get information on water availability, so forth. As you can see, public water supply produced the most from this chart, followed by the industrial and manufacturing. We saw a slight reduction this last year in groundwater production in the user groups for public water supply, filling pond, to surface and pound, non-ag irrigation, as well as recreational. While an increase in production was seen in user groups for commercial and industrial manufacturing. The rise in commercial and industrial manufacturing can be attributed to the purpose of use becoming non-exempt during rule revisions that were adopted by the board in 2023. Previously, they were exempt and did not have to report their production. On slide 5, here we have permitted allocation within the district, which is which we have seen steadily increasing over the years due to several factors. One of them throughout the district that's pretty predominant, not necessarily in Somervell County, but we're seeing across the district new developments outside of existing public water systems or city CCN or bounded areas. They're coming in wanting groundwater. Unfortunately, that is a limited resource, so we're encouraging them to look for additional sources as well. But other things that we're seeing impact that is public water systems are requesting increases in their own permits due to, future expansion of their areas, as well as we're seeing, again, as I mentioned, that non-exempt use change to begin, or that exempt use changing to be non-exempt in 2023, as well as commercial use, which we see a lot of industrial parks and RV parks continue to be popular investments, which, they're wanting water but can't be immediately serviced by some of the public water systems. So again, there's where a lot of this new water is going. The following chart 6 shows permitted amounts for each county compared to the actual production in gallons reported for 2023. In 2023, Somervell County permittees used 57.14% of their permitted allocation, which is relatively low if you look at the other counties. The city of Glen Rose and Vulcan Construction Material were the top two producers, each surpassing by 140 million gallons. Together, they accounted for 81.63% of the county's total production. Out of the 25 permits, 16 had production levels below 5 million gallons, each contributing to the county's overall production being significantly lower than the permitted authorization. So that's how we got back down to the 50-something%. Among the 4 counties, Somervell had the lowest utilization of its permitted allocation, with the other counties using 66% or more of their allocated resource. One of the things that we think kind of affected some of that, while we did have a severe drought, the impact was not near as severe as the prior year. I mean, it was kind of hard to imagine when we had 100-some degree temperatures for what I thought 60 plus days, but on record, if you look back, 2022 was more severe by all accounts. Now, we did notice when we look at those extreme maps, or extreme drought maps put out by the state, Somervell County was in that extreme drought longer than the other 3 counties within the district. So I think y'all have just been better stewards of the resource and managing that and limiting some of that extra outdoor lawn irrigating and so forth. And lastly, I've included a little slide on some highlights for 2023. It saw the board adopting rule amendments twice during the year. Partially looking at better defining a method of calculating contiguous controlled acreage. We're seeing a lot of areas that, are contiguous but slightly, or there's roads. So we made adaptations for that because we want that protection, that they have that ability to count adjoining acreage in their permitted authorization where available. We also adopted rules limiting small well capacity exemption to domestic livestock or poultry use. And what the board did here, that is actually, they're following Chapter 36 statute. In the past, we've had a bigger exemption than statute, but we were finding that it almost pits people, makes winners and losers out of it. And we're trying to treat everyone as fair as possible across. We also adopted rules that aligned our rules with new legislation that was passed this last session, including procedures for petitioning, rule amendments. Should someone not like the district rules, it clarifies that petition process that they have available. Other things that I want to kind of highlight is, we've been before the court talking about our district being a resource to the county to review these groundwater availability certifications. Well, post that memorandum of agreement with the county, the state actually passed legislation that now requires all plating entities to adopt rules that address that specifically. So we continue on working with counties and other political subdivisions to help with some of it, the smaller little plating entities understand what that process is, what they need to do, the requirements and stuff. So we're glad to provide that service, and hopefully will be well received with the other plating entities as we go forward. Other things, the district drilled its first ever monitoring well in the Austin aquifer. This was in Ellis County. We have it now where it is monitoring, and we've taken steps to move forward with another monitoring well. It's being drilled in, I think I said the first one was Ellis, I take that back, it was Hill County. The second one is going to be in Ellis County. But we continue to look for other sites. Due to cost, the limitation is very expensive as far as numerous ones a year. I mean, we're talking over $300,000 for a proper monitoring well. So, you know, trying to identify that proper spot, put it within the network where it's a benefit and not redundant on other monitoring wells that are available through Texas Water Development Board and so forth. But that goal is to strengthen our network as it is, so we have good information from all the aquifers. And another item I wanted to point out is the district continues to work within Groundwater Management Area 8. And we refer to that as GMA 8. One of the things they did was authorize technical consultants this last year to move forward with updates to the Northern Trinity GAN model. They expect to have deliverables on that this summer as we move forward into our next planning cycle. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions, and I want to first, I was neglectful in recognizing Paylene Garcia. She's here with me today. She's the one that actually put the wonderful presentation together. But, you know, should you have any questions, we're glad to answer, or if you want any type of educational resource, she's always available to you.
Michelle, would you be able to upload this somehow or back it where people can access it? And they can see also.
Yes, sir. I was actually going to ask if, do you happen to have this in PDF format that you can send to me?
Do we have it in PDF?
Yes, ma'am. And that way I can just upload it instead of trying to cut this up.
Absolutely, I can have it sent over.
Right, but, so we can send you this in a PDF. Can you email it right now? Or
I'll have to get back to the office.
this presentation?
I'll have my email done.
That'd be great if we get the presentation and then the booklet also, that'd be great.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
All right, well, good.
Thank you very much,
Good
Ken.
luck today.
Appreciate your help.